Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. I think we've got everyone that's going to join the meeting in today. Thank you all for joining today. This is Victor with Canix. So today we're going to go over a few new features, including things that have already been released that you may have questions on, as well as things that are to be released later this week. So let me go ahead and get started here. So I'll show you a few things that we've already got released as of today, and then some things that are going to be released soon. So specifically today, we're going to be covering inventory assignment. For those of you that were here last week, we did cover this already. I do want to cover it again, just so everyone has all the information. In addition to that, we'll go over saved views. So this is a site-wide change that everyone has already seen, that some of you may not be familiar with, how to use it, how to put it in practice. So we'll go over that as well. And then a couple additional things, specifically the waste log and price list. So these are things, the waste log specifically has been released already to everyone. So it's something you can use as of today. The price list is going to be coming, hopefully Thursday is the time frame that we're aiming for. So we're going to go over that, what that looks like. I saved that for last, as I always do, because it's something I'm very excited about. So we'll go over what that process looks like, what that workflow looks like. And then the same way that we format these meetings every week, we'll do the same thing here. I'll keep everyone on mute for the duration of the presentation. And then if you can post your questions into the Q&A or the chat, I could try to answer those during the presentation, or we've got some time at the end to go over any questions that you have if I don't get to them during the presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. So as I mentioned, the first thing I want to cover is the inventory assignment. So the way that the purpose of this feature is to enable your facility, your company, with the ability to assign specific portions of your inventory to salespersons within your company. So in the example that I have here, so I'm in my demo account under this specific facility. And the way to get to this screen under inventory assignment is under inventory and then assignment. So that's going to bring you to this screen where you can see anyone that has had the specific designation set in their user profile, which I'll show you in just a second. What we're showing here, though, is specific percentages of inventory, of subtypes, of subcategories of inventory that these specific salespersons have access to, that can sell. This is what they're kind of pulling from, these salespeople. So this is specific for your salespersons. And the way to set that, if we scroll down to admin and our user management page, this is now included in that list of email updates, sales over emails. So for example, I've got myself set to receive some portion of the inventory that we have. So I'm going to click into mine and show you what this looks like. So if I click into my specific user profile, you can see I'm an admin, I can receive email updates. We've also added this receive allocated inventory option. So what this selecting this option basically indicates that you are part of this inventory assignment, this inventory allotment. And that's the screen that I was just on. So once you assign specific users, again, these should be salespeople, anyone that is creating sales orders for customers, that's managing your inventory when it comes to sales, any person that is involved in that kind of sales order process. At that point, once they're selected there in their user management profile, then they're going to be populated here in the inventory assignments page. From here, what you can do is assign specific portions of your inventory. So within this grid, within these columns, you can assign specific portions, specific percentages of your inventory to those specific salespersons. And this is split up by subcategory. So as you can see, I've got A buds, I've got Keef, Blue Dream Flower, B buds. So this is my demo account here. And then we have uncategorized. So uncategorized basically consists of everything that is not included in one of these subtypes, one of these subcategories. And the way that that's set up, so again, anything that you don't have associated with an existing subcategory will be included in the uncategorized inventory list. So what that means is in our inventory availability screen, what you can see here, and let me deduct that. So you can see our inventory availability, the inventory assignment function only works, or it only affects a specific column within this screen. So it only affects your available to sell category. And let me click back over here to Canix CA. So it only affects your available to sell column here. That's the only thing, that's the only column that the inventory assignment designations affect. Everything else, as you know it to today, the total mark for sale, available mark for sale, all of that remains unchanged. It's really only that available to sell column that is affected by those designations that we've set in inventory assignment. So one thing that I want to cover here is, let me click over here to our inventory. So we have our available to sell, which is based on the designations that we've set in that inventory assignment page. And again, just to cover it again, just to go over that again, under inventory assignment, we can see we have those designations set with specific percentages, uncategorized. And the way to set these with the subcategories with the uncategorized column, this is set in facility data and items. So within each item, in addition to being set for the user, we can set specific items to be available to sell. Well, I should say available to be assigned is really what the designation should be. And within each of these, so let's take this 00TT. If I click into that, I can see that I have a few different options here. And if I set that subcategory, I have a few options: A bud, B bud, smalls, and trim. And this is what is going to be the trigger to push this into that inventory assignment screen. So once I have that subcategory set for this specific item, at that point, then I can assign specific inventory here. And then within the inventory assignment page, so in addition to actually assigning the inventory, I have an opportunity here to pick specific packages or specific items to mark as assigned inventory. So everything in this column here, marked available for sale, that's everything that we have in our platform that's available to sell. So some of this could be pushed out for testing. Some of it could be, not in a place that we want to be able to sell it. Maybe it's, raw material. It's concentrate that has not been split out. Maybe it's bulk flour that has not been split out into eighths and grams, pre-rolls. Once it gets to a specific point that you're ready to sell it and assign that to your salespeople, then you can assign that from here and push that into assigned inventory. So everything that we see here on the right, the assigned inventory, this is being dictated. What is happening here is everything that's in this list is being split out based on the inventory assignment rules that we've set on the previous page. So that's percentages of specific subtypes, subcategories per salesperson. So once those options are set, we have the assignment, we have the inventory that is actually specifically being assigned. Then what we can do is come to our inventory availability page and see the specific inventory per salesperson that is available to sell. So in the example I have pulled up here, we can see for myself, I'm marked as a sales rep, and we can see this Kraken leaf flower. I have a total of 2,267.96 grams. And that's because I've got the uncategorized column set at 100%. And if we look back here, we can see that we have Tim and Emily set at 25%. So Emily's set at 25%. So if I filter on her profile here, we'll see that 2,000 grams updated to 566.9. And that is pulling from that expected inventory assignment based on the percentages that we've set on that previous screen. So again, very useful for a larger facility that has multiple salespeople. Maybe you have a product that is really popular that you want to make sure that that popular product is split out between your salespeople. This is how you can do that. So you would add your salespersons as receives allocated inventory in user management. And then each of the inventory items that they are allowed to sell or that they have split out based on what has been created in Canix. You would set that in inventory assignment, and the inventory availability report is going to reflect those changes. It's going to reflect that formula that you've set in that inventory assignments page. All right. So the next thing I want to cover here is the saved views. So this is something that everyone should already be seeing in your platform. And I just want to go through it just to make sure everyone understands kind of how it works. And again, obviously, make sure to post your questions in the Q&A, or we can save it for the end and kind of go through any questions that you have for this new feature. So this is a site-wide change. So you're going to see this in plants, you're going to see this in harvests, in inventory, basically any part of Canix that you navigated before that had different pop-outs to say unallocated, allocated inventory, or vegetative versus flowering. You're going to see all those in the same view with a drop-down here to indicate or to go to the inventory of your plants or your packages that you're looking for. So in this example, what I'm showing here is I went to the plants view. I'm seeing tracked flowering. And from the default views that I have in this list, I can choose my harvested plants, I can choose my destroyed plants, and I can also view my custom views. So the way that to set those up, what you would do here is either get rid of specific columns that are not important. Let's say notes, maybe you don't utilize that column or that field. Perhaps parent location as well, number of harvests. And then you can also reconfigure where these columns fall on the view that you're looking at. So we can move plant batch all the way to the left. We can move location. Again, this is really important for to kind of designate or to kind of differentiate between a cultivation technician on the ground, an admin in the office, whatever information that those specific roles in your facility are looking for, they can build those out. And this, what we built here will dictate what that person is looking at. They can save those changes to a specific view that they want to see. So anytime that they log into Canix, they click to plants, they're going to see the information that they have deemed important. So in this case, what we've done here is updated the tracked flowering view. So we have plant batch, location, days in flower, total age. And from here, what I'll do is click that save button and then save view as, and let's say tracked flowering plants. And again, this could be a username, Jack flowering plants or Mary flowering plants. And then you can add the description, the default facility filter to current active facility. So whenever you click into plants tracked flowering, if you logged in and if you have multiple facilities, multiple licenses under your Canix platform, it will default to that license. And then also you can check that, make this default view box to every time that you as a user click into plants, you're immediately taken to this custom view that you've created. So again, this is important for people in the back office, accountants. It's important for owners. It's important for cultivation technicians on the ground. Whatever information, because it's different, throughout the facility, different roles require different pieces of information. So building that out per user is important. And that's what we're doing here. You can build those specific views, set those to default. And the settings that you create here under the view tab are specific to the user. So anyone that has a Canix profile, that has a Canix user profile, will be able to set their own views despite the device they're using. So previously, before the saving the views, disabling columns or rearranging columns, that was saved to the device itself. Now it's saved to the user with this saved views setup. Okay, the next thing I want to touch on is the waste log. So this is something I'm really excited about. This, along with the next thing I'm going to go over, which is the pricing list. So waste log, anytime that plant waste is created in Canix, what happened before is you'd create the plant waste, you'd have a plant count, but you wouldn't be able to see the plants that were included in that plant count. So if you created a waste record of, let's say, 1,600 plants, of pruning, just general trimming of the plants before they went into harvest. There was no easy way to go back and see what plants were associated with that plant waste. It was a record of the number of grams, the reason, mixed material. What we've done now is included with each of these plant waste records, the actual plants that were associated with that plant waste. So here, I'm using my demo account again here, and I've just clicked into plant waste, plants, and then waste. And you can see each of those individual records. So 100 grams here, 1 gram here, 420 here. And in addition to that, what we added is the plant count column. You can now click into each of those individual waste records and see which plants are associated with those waste records. Now, this is also important for those of you that are using metric. In a lot of cases, the plant waste is, the plant waste that is of plants that have been destroyed is submitted to metric automatically. So there is one kind of workflow where the plant waste is sent to your email as a CSV that needs to be uploaded. And that's due to a deficiency in metrics API, where we can't send just plant waste. Pruning, any kind of trimming that's happening with the plants, it's not possible for us as a third-party integrator to send that information directly to metric. So we send you a CSV that can be uploaded automatically. Now that is not the case for most conditions of plant waste, which include destroying plants and creating waste, harvest waste, all that kind of stuff. All that is automatically submitted. If it's just plant waste, if you're just taking the running total of a location of a specific room or a specific harvest batch or a specific, I should say, flowering batch, you will need to submit that information to Metric. And what we've done here is you can not only see the waste log for those plants, how many plants were associated with this waste log, but you can also download the CSV that you would need to submit to Metric. So there's a setting in user management to receive those email notifications. Anytime the plant waste is created, we'll send you the CSV automatically. If you did receive it, you can't find it in your email, you can always come back here to plant waste and find that plant waste record, download that CSV, and then upload it to Metric if needed. And that's what I'm showing you here. So you have the plant waste log. You can see all the information here, and then it's just a matter of clicking into that and seeing the individual plants associated with that plant waste, downloading those details, and then you can upload that to Metric. All right, so the last thing that I want to cover, and again, something I'm really excited about, and something this is coming out this Thursday to all customers. So pricing lists. So the place that I want to start here, the way that I got to this screen, if we go to facility data and sales price lists, that's where we can see this. So the way that the purpose of this feature is to set certain pricing. So obviously with any customer that you may have different pricing for certain customers based on the relationship that has been created with your salespersons, or whatever other reasons you have to adjust the pricing kind of on the go with specific customers. With this sales price lists feature, you can create those pricings, the pricing parameters of specific items with specific customers. So let me show you what this looks like. So I'm here in sales price lists. Again, this is under facility data, or will be under facility data and sales price lists. And from here, we can create our own price list. So create a new one. We've got a couple already set up here. So in this case, let's just set this up for me. So the first thing that you're going to see here, we've created the price list. The next thing that we need to do is add the items that we're going to be associating prices for, and then the customers that are associated with those prices specifically. So the first thing I'll do here is click add item, and I've got one here in my demo account that I'd like to use. Perfect. So again, this is my demo account. It's a little goofy looking, but the main thing here is adding the item that you'd like to add a pricing for. So I'll add that here. And what we're doing is adding the unit price. So, in this case, these Blueberry Island test items are capsules. And let's see, each one of these is $4.50. So what I'm setting here is every time that I add 1 unit of this specific item, it's going to be $4.50. I can do the same thing with the next item. So you would add those items. Let's say, let's choose this one here. So the same thing, I've got some bulk flour here. Let's say I want to set that as $1,200 for each pound. So as I'm creating this price list, once I have all the items accounted for, then I can add the customers. So I have my price list. If you have, let's say a zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, or, grade A, grade B, grade C customer list, you have specific pricing for those customers. That's how you would format this. You have a price list of all of your items. these are the customers that get that pricing. You set up another pricing list. These are the customers that get that pricing. So it's just a matter of setting up those pricing lists. And then when you go to create a sales order, then that pricing automatically populates into that unit price field when you create the sales order. So as an admin, you're creating those pricing lists, you're setting the prices, and then it's just a matter of internal training for the people that are actually creating those sales orders to say, hey, whatever is populating there, that's the pricing. I've already got that set. There's no need to worry about it from there. I had a question from Doug here. So can price lists be a percentage? That is a good question. As of right now, you would just do that percentage calculation yourself, set those pricings in that price list. But I'm going to make a note here to include that. I understand what you're saying here. So basically, these customers, here's the master price list. These customers receive a 10% discount. These customers receive a 12% discount. Is that kind of what you're talking about, Doug? Perfect. Okay, I'm going to take that back to the team. I think that's great feedback. For now, this will be how it works. You would set those prices, basically do the math externally if you need to get those price lists. But that's great feedback, and I love that idea. So instead of setting them manually, you just say, here's the master price list. Here's the percentage discount for these customers and these customers. Great question, Doug. Thank you. Cool. So again, the last thing I want to touch on here with these price lists, you set the item names first, and then similar to searching for customers when you're creating a sales order, here on the right side, we'll select add customer and then find the customer here. And then that's going to be the customer list that you have. This is pulled from current customers. So I do want to clarify that. So the way that you set up or that you create customers that you can sell to, you're pulling from that prospective customers list. This list here under add customers, pulling from the current customers list. So you will need to promote customers before you set up these sales, the price list. So I just want to make sure to clarify that. So the same process you would go through initially, find them in perspective, promote them to a current customer, and then you can start creating invoices and create these, the price list for them.